Yay! Okay, it's finally working. Oh my goodness, I'm having some really weird technical issues. Let me just get this up on Threads and then we can dive right in. I am so excited to talk about this topic today because I feel like it is so needed. There are too many people that I know of that so many questions about 1099s and what's this and what's that. So I'm providing a completely free resource to all of my people that are on this page, as well as my email list. I will be providing a completely free resource on this so that we can kind of dive into, I guess, the ins and outs of 1099. So we're going to start with this completely free resource. We're going to dive into it. Again, I don't even want your email. I don't want nothing. This is free for you. I want you to be able to understand your 1099s. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to get going. Okay. So diving right into this. First of all, take a deep breath. 1099s are confusing the crap out of people as of lately. I don't know what it is, but they keep telling us to do this and to do that and to do this. And then there's like a million different things floating around. So I understand they're confusing. And I want to give you the best resources possible to understand them and move forward with them. So, like I said, let's start with just the basics. So, the first thing we want to ask ourselves when we're looking at this, and of course, this is on the decision tree, is did you pay them $600 or more during the year? So that's the first question you want to ask yourself with all of your vendors. We want to start there. Did you pay them $600 or more during the year? Then you want to take a look at how did you pay them. So if you paid them via credit card or debit card, if you paid them via a payment platform, that could be PayPal, that could be Venmo, it could be um gosh, what else am I thinking? Honeybook, Stripe, all of those different types of payment platforms. You don't need a 1099. Now, I want to preface this by saying that you should be sending out a W 9 to all of your clients, and you should be receiving a W 9 to anyone you pay services to. This does not mean that you need to send them a 1099, but having a W 9 on file is an absolute must and a necessity for any type of business. So, as always, I always tell my clients this: when you are getting new clients, send them a W 9 right away. Just get it off your plate, give them the W 9. That way, they don't have to bug you during January. You don't have to worry about it. And then, of course, um, not just for that, but then you also need to get a W 9 before you send any payments to any sort of service provider that you are dealing with. So, again, credit cards and debit cards are a no go. You don't need a 1099. That is handled by the credit card or debit card company. They will send a 1099K. Payment platforms like Honeybook, Stripe, I use Anchor in my business, things like CPA charge, which are also a popular thing for bookkeepers. Any sort of things in those sphere also do not need a 1099. Again, send that W-9, but you don't need to send them a 1099. Payment platforms that you send friend and family payments to. This mainly applies to Venmo and PayPal. If you send friend and family payments on Venmo and PayPal, you will owe a 1099 to whoever pays services. And then bank transfer, ACH, Zelle, cash, or even check will also need a 1099. Now, you've asked yourself, how did you pay them? You want to analyze what type of business are they? If they are a sole proprietor or a single member LLC, they will need a 1099. If they are a C corp or an S corp, they don't need a 1099 unless they are a law firm. So, again, if you've stopped here, you don't have to go any further, but then you want to keep going and then you want to ask yourself, what did you pay them for? So, at this point, you're asking yourself, did I pay them for a service or did I pay them for a product? So, if you bought a digital product, you don't need to send them a 1099. But if you paid them for a service like bookkeeping, coaching, photography, website design, any sort of thing like that, that is a service, they do need a 1099. So this is the track to follow. Again, this is completely free in the description box below. I don't want your email. I don't need anything. It's directly connected to Canva. And then, of course, we have this here. Did you pay rent for rent to a landlord. If yes, you do need to send them a 1099. It is a different 1099. It's a 1099 MISC or miscellaneous. And then, of course, we would love to talk about um, royalties as well. I work with a lot of bookish goods people. Royalties, you will need a 1099 as well. So you want to make sure that's sent out. Again, a lot of them you don't need to send out 1099s for certain things, like if they're an S Corp or something like that. But you always want to make sure you get that W-9 right up front. So some pro tips to keep in mind: Stripe, Square, Honeybook, PayPal, etc. Report most of these transactions if the $600 threshold is met. It's actually $5,000 for them now with the 1099K. So they will report that to the IRS. Even if you're under, you still need to record that on your side for your taxes, but they will report that to the IRS if it's more. Now, you do not want to send 1099s to these vendors. If you send them to these people, you will be getting them double reported, and they will double report their income, which will mean they will pay more taxes. So do yourself a favor and avoid that at all costs. And then, of course, payments made via check, cash, or ACH transfers are on you to handle the 1099s. And the method of payment is just as important as the amount paid when deciding if you need to file a 1099, because, of course, that's essential. So, like I mentioned, I just want to wrap this kind of like really short live up with a couple of tips. So, three specific tips. First of all, if you are dealing with any sort of service provider or vendor, send them a W-9. If you are a service provider yourself, send a W-9 to your clients. Sorry, if you're dealing with a service provider or vendor, get them to send you a W-9. If you are a service provider yourself, send every single one of your clients a W-9. Even if they're paying you via Honeybook or Stripe or whatever it is, you want to make sure that they have that W-9 on file just so that they can verify and they don't have to bug you for it. And if you are international and you're dealing with people in the US, what they need to sign instead is a W-8 Ben. And a lot of people resist sending W-9s. Let me tell you right now, a W-9 does not mean I'm going to send you a 1099. It's a way for your bookkeeper, your accountant, whoever it is, to verify if they even need to send you one. So they won't send you one if they don't need to, but they need to verify that information. So that's very, very important. The third thing is there are many different softwares out there for you to file them yourselves, especially if you have everything and you're ready to go and you want to file yourselves. So I want to talk about a couple of them. I personally, in my firm, use Track 1099. It's a great resource. They send them out yourself if you have the addresses. If you have the emails, they'll even e-file them on your behalf. They can go straight to the vendor. The vendor doesn't have to worry about trying to get them in different ways. And then, of course, you have your tax 1099. I've never used, but it is also an option, and I will link both of those in the description box as well. Now, just as a final overview as well, if you have contractors, so you have people that are doing contract labor for you, like you are a bookkeeper, for example, like me, and I hired someone to do just work on a cleanup alone, they would need a 1099 if they've reached that $600 threshold. Usually they need a 1099 if you've paid them not like in Gusto or something like that. Like a lot of my contractors I pay in Gusto, so they get a 1099 from Gusto. But that's also another bag of fish to think about is your contractors. If you're paying them through a payroll software, it all still applies the same way. So, because obviously a contractor is going to be a sole proprietor. But just another note that I wanted to touch on. I know the 1099s are crazy. Right now, everybody's running around like a chicken with their head cut off because they want to get these filed. So, this is completely free. I will never charge for this. I'm not asking for your email. In the description box below, go ahead and click. You can ask yourself on this decision tree, and hopefully you can help. This will help you make those decisions. If you need anything or you need any help, email me. I will not charge you to ask me a question. I just want to help you get your 1099s filed. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching and spending time with me today. I appreciate you so much. And yeah, we'll catch you next time.